Hello friends and welcome to this second session of the Terraform Basics. Hope you all guys are doing good. In these particular sessions, we are going to discuss about the Terraform state file, the backup file of the state file, and the GitHub repo. So we are going to look into the connectivity, or we will try to create a new repository in GitHub. And we are going to also see the how the destroyed target file help us to remove a particular instance or particular resource, you can say, from the architectural environment. So these all things we are going to see in this particular sessions, and this is going to be a very interesting sessions where we are covering lots of things. So you please watch till end of the video. We get learn more knowledge about the Terraform, how the state file will behave, what is the role of the backup file. The GitHub also, because we are going to create a repository in other providers, and that target file, how the target file will help to remove a particular resource, not all the resource, because whenever we run a Terraform destroy command without any target flag, it will remove all the resources whatever we have in the configuration file. Okay, so this is our environment. Okay, this is our GitHub where we have two repository, and this is the EC2 instance where we don't have any running instance. Okay, and this is our Terraform, which if you remember previously, we already executed or created a EC2 instance in on the AWS. So for this, we provided the access key and secret key, and this is the very you can say sensitive information. So you don't have to share with anyone. I created a new one for this demo, and before uploading this video to the YouTube, I will delete it. So be very careful about this. So you will not going to share these types of informations to anyone, because otherwise your account will be compromised. Okay, so we have a file for my EC2 instance Terraform, and we have all the coded, like whatever is required. If you look into the Terraform documentations here, so you can see that there is a huge number of provided and supported by the Terraform. They are big in number. You can see the 1646. So some of the provider is officially, you can say, supported by the Terraform. So, and some of them are not officially supported. That's why for the newer releases, Terraform always used to add these types of things. You can see in the Terraform 0.313 onwards, it's asking you to add the Terraform provider in this way. Okay, so in my if you see my file of the Terraform, I didn't add it because this is AWS is directly officially managed by the Terraform, so it's not required, but it's a good practice to add it in the or in the coming video. I will keep on adding these commands. Currently, I'm avoiding it, so just to make a lecture in this lecture simplicity, you can say, so that everything is easy understandable. Because in the other lectures, I am going to talk about what is the role of the versions and all these things. Because if you can see in the Terraform, when you initialize the Terraform, if you are using the AWS types of things, it will download the plugins of the AWS into this particular folder. At the same time, it's also registering the version of the Terraform that we are using for the AWS plugin. So we will going to discuss more about it in the coming videos, because I am planning to add a very good amount of videos for this Terraforms, because it's going to be very long session. Means I keep on adding whenever I get time on this. So this is my EC2 instance. So currently I'm going to run it again, because I don't have, I destroyed in the previous video, I destroyed run the destroyed command, and whatever the instance I created with this name, it's destroyed. So let me run it again. Okay, so I'm currently in my this particular path. I run the Terraform. first run plan so that we can understand that what it's going to do. So here you can see that it's going to add one resources. The name of the resources means it's going to create this particular resources of issue 2, and as per my configurations, it will create instance of T2 micro. So we using this image. So I already provided all the details into that in which region you have to do, what is the user credentials, and which image to use for which type. So all the informations which is basic, I provided all the informations. Now I'm happy with this plan because it's going as per my configuration. So I'm going to apply it. Terraform apply. Okay, as soon I run this command, it will ask me for the confirmation, as you already see in the previous video. There is one more to why I am so demonstrating all the things to you again, because if you see in the it's created one state file. Previously there is no state files. So how the it's currently in the writing phase, that's why permission is denied. Keep them write all the informations. So how the Terraform will know that this particular instance will managed by the Terraform means it's only by the state file. So whatever we are managing or we are deploying the resources into the any provider, like for example I am doing for the AWS, when I configured all these things into the Terraform file and I run it, I apply that changes into the environment. At the same time, Terraform write a state file. So this is the very important file, and you don't have to go to this particular file to manage anything, because looking into this file only the Terraform will know that we already created an instance. Okay, so Terraform will read this file and it will look into this particular demand that okay, I have to create an instance. Then it will look into the state file. If the instance is already get created or there is no modifications with the desired and actual is what we have in the environment, desired what we required. So this is our requirement. Our requirement is to create a EC2 instance, and this is the you can say a copy, a configuration copy that what Terraform performed previously for this particular file. So what the Terraform will keep all the informations, like you can see that Terraform created in the AWS environments, it's created an instance. So you can see there is informations regarding the AMI. It's having all the informations regarding the IP, regarding the security groups. So you can find all the information here, which type of instance it's using for creating the instance, what is the behavior. So it's fetching all the informations from the AWS. So you can see that from this file only the Terraform will able to know either there is new modifications required or not. So whenever you run the destroy command, this particular all informations will go away. Why? Because Terraform destroyed it. So Terraform don't have any informations on it. When we run again command again, it will create again. When we do any modifications, it will modify this file. Okay, now currently we don't have the backup file because we are currently in the initial stage. We just created an instance in the EC2 environment. So this is the first stage. We don't have the backup because we don't have the history. We didn't did anything in previously. So when we do any kind of modification further, it will create a backup. So backup is just a step back configuration, you can say. What is the previous configurations to roll out the changes? So you have to very sure about it that in this particular file you are not going to change anything. This is the very sensitive file. So in the environment, means in the working environment or working organizations, this particular file will be we are going to keep in the S3 bucket, or we can reserve it in a you can say in a private way, so that the other users cannot go and play with this sensitive file. So this is the first thing. Now I'm going to check into the environment, either the EC2 instance get created or not. Okay, so we run the plan and then apply into the Terraform. After confirmations, it's created a new instance. So you can see that, okay, we created an instance. This is the first thing. Now what I am going to do, if you see the securities, it has the default security group. And what we have in the environment, do we have any more security groups? Okay, we have one more security group, SG. But before that, I'm going to apply the changes again without doing any types of modification. Let me do that. Let me run the plan. I didn't did any modifications. Terraform plan. Okay, so now it's refreshing the instance what we have in the actual and what we desired. So actual is the environment. We are in the like for example AWS environment, and the desired is what we have in the configurations file. So it's currently matching with this file. Okay, this file and the environment we have in the, so first it's refreshed and it didn't find any changes. When it not find any changes, it's matched with the desired, so all looks good. That's why it's saying that there is no changes in the infrastructure. In this way, Terraform compare the changes whatever we did. Now I'm going to change it, but I'm not going to change it at Terraform side, and I'm going to change it at the AWS level. What we are going to change, AWS have a default security group attached. I'm going to remove it. I'm going to add my security group that I created for any personal activities. Let me do that. Okay, so we are going to use DevOps security groups. Okay, for that I have to go to the EC2 instance, running instance, and then I have to take the actions. There is security. Okay, change the security groups, this one, and here I am going to add this one security group. Okay, default security groups get added. Now I'm going to remove this one and save this file. Okay, that's it. So when we go for the to look into the changes, you can find that now the default is removed because I already did it just time before, and we don't have these types of thing in the Terraform state file. This because Terraform state file have the default. Okay, so let me verify it as well. So if you look into the Terraform state file for the security groups related things, you can find those informations here. Look, here it is. So what in the state file, it's default, and what we provided, we didn't provided any informations regarding the security group. Whatever is mandatory, we provided, that is the AMI, the T2. So this is not related with the configuration changes. So let's run a plan again, and you will be going to understand what is going to happen this time. So I'm going to run a plan because the actual and the desired is same, but there is changes. Why it's saying that no changes? Because whatever we have written here, okay, what we have written here is same, means the desired and actual is same, because we didn't mention anything about the security groups here. Okay, so it picked the default and if I changed it, but when it's refreshed, it identified that the security groups got changed. Okay, so you can see that there is a security groups and it's got changed for this particular. You can see the message is also appearing, there has been changed. Okay, so I'm going to refresh it. I run this command, so refresh only, it will not do anything in the environment, it just refreshed, refreshing the state file. Okay, So it's not applying anything because we don't have anything to apply. It's just refreshed. So apply completed and nothing, no, nothing added, nothing changed, nothing destroyed. Now we are going to look into the state file. So you can see that the default is changed. Okay, and now we have a backup copy available. So what you think, what will be available in the security group of the backup copy of the state file? It's going to be default, because previously we have default, current we have the, this is the current and this is the default. So it's keep a backup copy of the state file. Look, so in the backup we have the default, because previously we have the default, we changed it and we refreshed it. So when we refreshed it, the whatever we have in the real environment we have in the Terraform environment. So all the things get matched, but the backup will keep the backup of the, means the history of the architecture, and the state file, which is the main file, will keep the real informations what we have the currently in the environment. So you can understand in this way the things work, the state file and the backup file. Okay, so when we removed this particular thing, suppose by mistake we, for testing we will remove this particular file, so Terraform will don't have any informations that what type of environment we created previously. In that case, what will happen, it will again create a ec2 instance that will be managed by the Terraform, not the previous one, because we already removed the state file, and that particular instance which we managing previously is not currently the part of, because we removed the state file. So now whatever the instance we created currently after removing the Terraform state means after removing the Terraform state file will be the part of the Terraform, and that particular instance is managed by the Terraform, not the previous one. That one is the unmanaged thing. So how we can club that particular instance that we created before removing the state file, we will look into the some other videos that how we can club that particular instance which is not managed previously by the Terraform. So these all things we can discuss. So this is the discussions regarding the state file and backup file. So I think you guys know all the things about it. So now I am going to use other provider. For example, this is the AWS related things, and now I'm going to GitHub. You can go to any of the provider, but you should have the informations, you should have the knowledge about that provider. So you can see that in the registry file, so we have this much of provider. Okay, and now we are demonstrating a Terraform or Terraform functionality using the AWS. But for a better understanding, I am taking one more example of GitHub. After that, in the further sessions I will concentrate on the AWS only, because I need to demonstrate all the examples, all the functionality of Terraform using one AWS provider. In this way, you have the better understanding. If I keep on demonstrating on all the providers, it will not going to in a simple way, because and you will not understand the whole the functionality. So you first thing you should have the knowledge of the AWS, like EC2 is a virtual machines. If you're working with the Ocean Cloud, the Droplet is the same as the EC2 of the AWS. So you have to understand those things. So in case you are working with the Kubernetes, for example, you go to the documentations, and here you can see that if you are using the Kubernetes provider, you have to set the config path, because in the Kubernetes all the things we keep in the config file, the cluster information, the user informations, the all the URL related things, all the context we are setting it. So that's why you have knowledge about that particular provider if you want to work with it. So this is the first thing. Now currently I'm going to means going to GitHub. Let me browse it. So I'm going using the Google, and here I'm writing the GitHub. and GitHub Terraform provider. Okay. So in this way also you can search in a very easy way. So you can see that if I have to work with the GitHub provider, we have these particular things that we need to club it. Okay, so let me copy these things first, because I'm going to create one repository here. Okay, let me create one file, github.tf, tf for Terraform files. Okay, so we created. So these all file exist into the Terraform folder. So when we run the Terraform apply, it will read all the TF files. So there is also variable files that we will discuss in the when we are discussing about the variable file, TF var files. So there are lots of things, but this is the best thing to manage it. So like we are using the GitHub, so we have to use in this way. Okay, so I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so whatever informations you have, now again I'm going to the documentation. So each time you have to refer the documentation. This is not the things that you can learn and then start working. Each time you have to open the documentations to start working on it. So you can see that for authentications you have to generate a token. So it's taking the token, so I'm going to copy it. Okay, so these all things are very sensitive information, so you have to be very careful. So for demo I am creating it, I will remove it before uploading. So for the token, I'm going to remove it. I have to generate a token, because in the similar way, means for the GitHub, I have to generate a token that will give access that what we are going to perform in the GitHub. So let me do that. I'm going to GitHub. This is my account. I have two repository. You can see. I'm going to setting. Okay, here you can find the developer settings. You have to go to this particular things and the personal tokens. Okay, so you have to generate a token. Let's call it as a Terraform. Okay, I'm using it for the Terraform. For the repo, you have to select it, because you have to create a repository, and we have to delete it when we destroy it, because we have to see about the target flag also. So this is the good that I've taken the example from the two provider, and I'm going to creating the two resources there, one for the AWS and one for the GitHub. So I have to delete also. Okay, these only two actions I want anyone can use my token and perform it. So I generated this token. Let me copy it. Okay, and now I'm going to use it here. So under double quotes, paste it. Okay, so this is the first thing that I created, the provider related information. So now what I need to go, what I need to create resources, which resources I want to create, what actions I need to perform. So I have to do it in the resource section. Again, I am referring the documentations of the Terraform, and I'm going to resource. There we have a repository. Okay, this one repository, just need to copy it. Okay, this is the example. Going to the atom editor, and here I am going to paste all the informations. Okay, so this particular resource have lots of informations like template. So we can see into this particular documentations what thing is required. So name, description, visibility, definitely I'm going to make it private, not public. Template, okay, so if you go to the name is required, so we will keep the name as it is. We will not going to remove. Description optional, I will remove it for the simplicity. And what else? The visibility, okay, I will keep it to make it private. What about the template? So in this documentation you have all the informations which on. Okay, template is optional as well. So okay, now I'm going to modify it. I'm going to remove the description part. Visibility, I'm going to make it private. Template, I'm going to remove the whole section. It's not required. For simplicity, you have a better understanding when we don't have many things. Okay, all the things we are going to discuss in the other video, but not related with the GitHub. We will concentrate on the AWS. Okay, so all things looks perfect. Let's change it. My first repo using TF. This is the very good name. Okay. So what I am going to do, I'm going to create a repository. Okay. I provided the token to have authentications. What needs to be performed. I also assigned the roles, and we are going to use the Terraform for the GitHub. Okay. The version is also there. Now I'm going to save it. Okay, so we have in the state file, you can see the AWS instance is already get created. We created it previously. Now we have one more provider I added. So what we have to do, we have to run the Terraform init. Let's clear the screen. Terraform init, because I added a new provider. That's why I have to do it. Okay, so look, you can see that it's start downloading all these required things, all the plugins related things. It will keep 1 or 2 seconds, nothing more than that. Okay, now I'm going to run Terraform plan first. This is the first thing you have to do. You don't have need to apply it before. Sometimes whatever you decide is not coming into the plan, or something in different ways. Something modification, some instances getting dropped by the plan, and some instances again recreating. So you have to review each time the plan before using the apply. Okay, so it's adding one things. What is the one thing? It's creating what it's creating the GitHub repository, and name is the example. This example is for your internal. It's not going to reflect anyway in the environment. Like in the for the AWS instance, you have the my first issue2 instance. You have to use this particular local, you can say the local variable of the AWS instance that you can use. Okay, we can use these all things when we are using the destroy commands. Okay, so you will have better understanding at that time in this particular video only. So in the GitHub, you can see the example. This is the local, you can see a variable I am using for the repository. That name is, this is going to reflect in the environment. Okay, so I run the plan, and the plan is looks good. Okay, so this is the name of my repo, and when I'm going to apply it. Okay, so it's not creating the EC2 instance, because it's again referring to the state file. As per the state file, the real environment and the desired configuration is matching. So it's what it's find different. It's find different that I again added one file which saying that I have to create a repo on the GitHub. Terraform plan. Okay, so now it will ask for the configurations. Okay, sorry, I have to apply Terraform. Okay, plan we already performed. Okay, now it's asking for the confirmation. Yes, go ahead. So now what it's applying, and we have a green signal that apply is completed. Now I'm going to that to see what it's created. So you can see that one repository got created. My first repo using TF. Previously we have two repo, and now we have one more repo. So you can see that the things works. Okay, so now we have a EC2 instance in a different provider. We managed it into a different Terraform files, and now we have a resource in a GitHub also. Okay, we in the same folder, so we managed the files in the similar order, like we are trying to utilize any other resources from any other provider. So we can make a new file Terraform. When we run, it will look all the Terraform files and do the things accordingly. Okay, so now we have two resources, one in two providers. Okay, the things is clear. Now it's time to remove. Okay, when we run a destroy command, suppose one more thing, the state, if you look now into the state file, you have the informations regarding the GitHub also. Look, so Terraform added it, but if you look into this particular file, the backup file, this backup file will not have the Terraform informations, because this is the backup file. Okay, previously we don't have the Terraform, means GitHub. Okay, we have only EC2 instance, so it's keep only the informations regarding the EC2 instance. Now again we run the apply for any of the activity. The backup will have the GitHub information, so it's taking the backup of the previous architecture. Okay, now I'm going to run the Terraform destroy. So what will happen? It will look into all the Terraform file, the state file, whatever we have in the environment in the two provider. It will delete all these things, and we don't want to remove our EC2 instance. At that time, what we have to do? We have to use the target flag, because I want only the GitHub repository to be deleted, not the EC2 instance. So now again, the target, what target? I go to the GitHub and will copy this particular things, GitHub repository. Okay, I'm pasting it here. Dot, what is the name of this local repository? Again, go to the metadata, example. I'm copying it, pasting it here. Now run it. So you can see that what this particular plan is destroying. So it's destroying only the GitHub repository, not AWS instance. So I confirm it, yes, it's destroyed. So you can see here that when you refresh it, you cannot find that particular repository, but in the EC2 instance we have the instance is still running, because we didn't remove it, because we set the target flag. Okay, so now we are going to look into the state file. The state file will have the current informations only related with the AWS, not with the GitHub, because we removed it. Okay, and now the backup have both the informations, AWS and GitHub. So you understand in a better way what is the state file, what is the backup file, what is the method to create a resource in a different providers. Okay, so you have the information about the locking also, that we are going to discuss in more in other videos. So I am not going to touch this particular part. So you understand all these things, and you have the state file. Now if I want to remove the instance of the AWS instance, let me do that. I will going to run the destroy command again without any target flag. Terraform without any target flag, because I have only one resource that in the environment. I'm going to remove that as well. It's better to remove it, because otherwise you will get charged if you not have the free tier account. So you can see that it's now removing or destroying the AWS instance. Now it's terminated. Okay, wait for a second. Okay, so now if you look into the state file, it's currently writing into that particular file, because it's still running. It will take 1 or 2 seconds more. Okay, now it's destroyed. Okay, so now when you look into the state file, we don't have any resource informations. Okay, so whatever we created, we destroyed it, one by using the target, and the other because we have only one resource to destroy. That's why I didn't put a target flag there. I simply use the destroy command, and in the state file we don't have any information, but in the backup we have the information. So this is the things of related with the backup, so you can review it. Okay, and make the backup file as a state file in case of any emergency required. But these types of things is you can say for use for the disaster management. Okay, so that's all, guys. So if you like my video and the way of presenting, or maybe making the things in a simple way, so if you really like my video, please subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends as well, because I'm going to keep on adding the Terraforms videos whenever I get time, and this is going to be a very long, you can say, the playlist. I'm planning to add, means you can say that more than 25 videos on the Terraform that will help you in the Terraform Associate exam as well. So keep watching and subscribe to my channel if you didn't did it, and share it with your friends. Click on the like button as well if you really like my video and the way of presenting. Thanks you. Have a nice day. Thank you.